Have you ever felt a chill creep up your spine when you least expect it? Ever wondered what lurks in the shadows of the ordinary? A simple car ride, an everyday activity, one that we hardly ever give a second thought. We entrust our safety to a stranger, guided by a small device that tracks our journey from start to finish. But sometimes the ordinary can transform into the extraordinary, and not in a way we'd like. Imagine stepping into an Uber, anticipating a routine drive, only for the journey to morph into a chilling adventure. The familiar hum of the car engine is drowned by your heartbeat echoing in your ears. The once comforting glow of passing streetlights transforms into haunting flashes of uncertainty. What if I told you that the very vehicle you take for granted could be the stage for a tale of terror? Tonight, we delve into the top 5 Uber horror stories that will make you rethink your next ride. Our first tale begins on a cold, dreary night, with a driver who picked up more than just a passenger. In the heart of the city, where the neon lights fail to penetrate the thick fog, an Uber driver named John finds himself cruising the dimly lit streets. He's a seasoned driver, having spent countless nights navigating the labyrinthine city, but tonight something feels different. He receives a ping on his app, a request from a passenger simply named A. The pickup location is a cemetery, which is odd, but John shrugs it off as a morbid joke, maybe a caretaker working late. He pulls up to the gates, and to his surprise, there's a figure standing there, as ethereal as the fog itself. The figure gets in the back seat without uttering a word. John glances in the rear-view mirror but sees only an empty seat. He feels a chill but blames it on the cold night air. He starts the ride, and the address that pops up is an old mansion on the outskirts of the city, a place known for its ghostly tales. As he drives, he hears a whisper, a faint voice that sends chills down his spine. He looks at the rear-view mirror again, but the back seat remains empty. The whispers grow louder, a wailing lament that fills the car, echoing off the leather seats. John's heart races, his palms sweat as he grips the steering wheel tighter. He finally reaches the mansion, its dark silhouette looming ominously against the moonlit sky. He stops the car, and the whispering abruptly ceases. His heart still thudding in his chest, he ends the ride on his app. The fare seems unusually high for the short distance, but he doesn't dwell on it. He speeds away, leaving the mansion and its ghostly passenger behind. Days later, he finds an old newspaper article about a woman named A, who lived in that mansion and was buried in the city cemetery. The article was dated 50 years ago, so the next time you see an empty seat, remember it might not be as vacant as you think. Imagine a journey that seems to stretch on forever, with no end in sight. Picture this: you're tired, it's late, and all you want to do is get home. You hop into an Uber, buckle up and lean back, ready to relax during the ride. But as the minutes turn into hours, you realize something is terribly wrong. You first notice it when familiar landmarks start to look strange, distorted somehow. Roads you've traveled 1,000 times before seem alien, as if you're seeing them for the first time. The driver remains silent, eyes fixed on the road, seemingly oblivious to your growing unease. As the journey continues, you try to reason it out. Maybe you're just tired, you think. Maybe it's the late hour playing tricks on your perception, but as the ride stretches on, your rational explanations start to crumble. The world outside the car seems to be stuck in a perpetual twilight, neither day nor night. The same buildings, the same trees, the same roads, they seem to loop endlessly like a broken record. A chill creeps up your spine as panic sets in. You're trapped in an unending Uber ride, a prisoner in a car that seems to be stuck in a time loop. You try to communicate with the driver, but he doesn't respond. He just keeps driving, his eyes fixed on the road, as if hypnotized. You pull out your phone to call for help, but it's dead. The battery is completely drained, despite being fully charged just moments ago. You feel completely isolated, trapped in a car that's hurtling through a world that's stuck in a never-ending loop. The tension mounts with each passing moment. With no way to escape and no way to communicate with the outside world, you're left to confront the terrifying reality of your situation. You're stuck in an Uber ride that seems to have no end, a journey that's turned into a nightmare. Time can play tricks on us, but this was a ride that defied all logic. Sometimes the quickest route isn't always the safest. Our third unsettling tale revolves around a seasoned Uber driver named Tom. Known for his fast routes and quick arrivals, Tom's reputation was built on his unique ability to find shortcuts. But one fateful night, his knack for speed and time-saving routes led him down a path he'd never forget. Tom was driving late, past the midnight hour, when he picked up a last-minute fare in a remote part of town. The passenger, a quiet man with a soft voice, requested a long journey across the city. Eager to finish his shift, Tom decided to take a shortcut. He veered off the main road, plunging into a labyrinth of narrow, scarcely lit streets. The passenger, still silent, didn't react, leaving Tom to navigate the dimly lit maze alone. The streets grew narrower, the buildings taller and more menacing. The city lights were just a distant glow, swallowed by the looming shadows. He could hear nothing but the rumble of his engine and his own heartbeat echoing in the silence. Suddenly, Tom's trusted car began to sputter and choke. The engine's growl turned into a whimper, and the car rolled to an eerie stop. Stranded in the heart of the shadowy labyrinth, panic started to creep in. He turned to his passenger, but the back seat was empty. The man had vanished, leaving nothing but a chill running down Tom's spine. As he sat there, alone in the darkness, Tom heard strange whispers like a chorus of ghostly voices carried by the wind. His headlights flickered, revealing fleeting glimpses of shadowy figures that seemed to watch from the corners of his eyes. Each twist and turn of the sinister shortcut seemed to escalate the horror, the labyrinth coming alive with each passing second. In the end, Tom managed to restart his car, escaping the labyrinth and the horrors it housed. But the experience left him with a chilling reminder. In the quest for speed, we sometimes lose sight of safety. Tom learned that night that the quickest route isn't always the safest. What if your Uber ride home turned into a nightmare you couldn't wake up from? Picture this, you're riding home alone, late at night, only to realize the driver isn't following the prescribed route. Instead, he's leading you into an unknown part of town, far from the safety of your home. Our fourth story revolves around a young woman named Ellie. One chilly night, Ellie hailed an Uber, looking forward to the warmth of her house. The driver, a middle-aged man with an unsettling grin, confirmed her destination and began the drive. As they crossed the familiar streets, Ellie felt a wave of relief, but that relief was short-lived. As the journey progressed, Ellie noticed the driver taking unexpected turns, leading her away from her neighborhood. She asked him about the route, but he dismissed her concerns with a forced chuckle, assuring her that he was taking a shortcut. But the shortcut seemed to stretch on forever, leading them deeper into an unfamiliar part of the city. Ellie's heart pounded in her chest as she watched the streetlights grow dimmer, the houses more sparse. She reached for her phone, only to realize it had mysteriously lost signal. The driver's eerie silence only added to her growing fear. He seemed to be reveling in her discomfort, his eyes meeting hers in the rearview mirror, his grin widening with each passing minute. It was as if he was no longer just a driver but a predator, stalking his prey. Eventually, Ellie mustered the courage to confront the driver, demanding him to stop the car. But would he listen? Would she make it home safely? Or would this Uber ride become her worst nightmare? These questions hung in the air as Ellie found herself trapped in a moving car, miles away from home, with a silent stalker at the wheel. A chilling reminder that the most terrifying experiences aren't always the ones that go bump in the night. Remember, not all monsters lurk in the shadows. Some are hiding in plain sight. Trust in technology can sometimes lead us astray. As we delve into our final tale, we're reminded that even the most advanced gadgets are not immune to the eerie influences of the unknown. Meet our protagonist, an Uber driver named Jack, who, on a gloomy, rain-soaked night, finds himself in the clutches of a technological terror. Jack's usual routine is disrupted when his GPS, a device he's relied on for countless trips, suddenly takes on a life of its own. The night starts like any other, with Jack accepting a ride request from a passenger in a remote part of town. As he sets his GPS for the location, he notices the device acting strangely. It flickers, stutters, and glitches, but eventually settles down, displaying the route. Jack, dismissing it as a minor technical glitch, starts his journey. The drive starts off normal enough, but as he nears the destination, the GPS begins to reroute him, leading him deeper into the heart of an abandoned industrial area. The roads become narrower, the buildings more dilapidated, and the atmosphere increasingly foreboding. He tries to override the GPS, but it's as if the device has a mind of its own, insisting on this eerie detour. As he reaches the end of this desolate path, he finds himself in front of an abandoned warehouse. The GPS announces, "You have reached your destination," but there is no one there. No passenger, nothing but the echoing sound of rain against the metal roof of the warehouse. Suddenly, the GPS springs to life again, displaying a new message that sends a chill down Jack's spine. "They're waiting for you inside." As the screen goes dark, Jack is left alone in the middle of nowhere, the chilling words of the haunted GPS echoing in his mind. In the world of the supernatural, even technology isn't safe. And as Jack would tell you, sometimes the most reliable tools can become the most terrifying tormentors. As we reach the end of our journey, remember, these tales are a reminder of the unknown lurking in the everyday. We started off with The Phantom Passenger, a chilling tale of a driver who picked up an unseen visitor. The back seat was empty, but the presence was undeniable. The cold air, the whispered words, all hinting at a spectral rider hitching a ride to the unknown. A grim reminder of how the ordinary can turn extraordinary in the blink of an eye. Then, we ventured into the unending trip. A ride that should have lasted minutes but seemed to stretch on for hours, even days. The road kept unwinding, the destination kept shifting, and the panic kept mounting. A horrifying ordeal that turned time into an unfathomable abyss, showing us that reality can warp in unexpected ways. Our journey took a sharp turn with the sinister shortcut, a route that wasn't on the map leading to places that didn't exist. The driver, led astray by a mysterious force, found himself in a nightmarish landscape beyond comprehension. It was a stark reminder of the unseen paths that lie hidden in our world, waiting to ensnare the unwary. The Silent Stalker was next, a tale of a relentless pursuer with no face, no voice, just an ominous presence. The driver, pursued through deserted streets and dark alleys, was trapped in a game of cat and mouse. This story reminded us of the unseen dangers that could be lurking in the shadows, watching, waiting. Finally, we navigated the haunted GPS. A device meant to guide, turned into an instrument of terror. The directions led to forgotten places, haunted by echoes of the past. It was a chilling account of technology intertwining with the supernatural, a stark warning of the ghosts that might be hiding in the machine. So next time you book an Uber ride, remember these tales and brace yourself, because you never know what ride you might get.